fuck, I was muted. Damn it. What's up, people? What is going on? Kind of fucked up at the beginning. I didn't realize I was muted, but I was doing the NPC stuff, and I'm like, Bigger Force is going to be starting his NPC journey just now, you know? But I screwed up because I was muted. Oh, damn it. We'll try it again next week and see how it works out. We got Mark and JG in the house. Roberto can't make it. I think Danny will be popping in a little bit later, and Low Key said he will be popping in as well. JG, where can they find you, sir?
Find me right here on the O.O.C, one of the greatest YouTube channels on the block. You heard me. With my boy, the great, the amazing Nzo, the great Roberto's not here, unfortunately, and the amazing, the outstanding, the spectacular, always the man of the hour, Danny, aka Comic Chats. You can also find me with my brother from another mother, Super Wise, talking that geek stuff that I love so much.
And we also got my boy Mark with a C from the Dark Council in the house tonight to chill with us. What's up, brother? Tell the people where they can find you, sir.
I can't be found. I'm invisible. You can't see me.
Especially when the lights are off.
Thank God for electricity. But yes, thank you for having me on. Mark with a C is the channel. You just come by, always talk about social stuff, entertainment stuff, very, very hot takes. And I welcome conversation. So that's always a good thing. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, 100%. That's what we do over here, you know, and I think we got a great show for you guys tonight. You know, got some good topics. As you can see, you had the Alabama Brawl. We're going to get into that. We're also going to, well, I say gun laws, but it's not really about the gun laws, but I'll show you guys when we get to that topic, you know, because it started a little debate on Facebook, you know, and I tried to get Fatal to come up in here, but I get it. He was scared to debate me. You know what I mean? I wouldn't be scared to debate me too if that were the case. But, you know, Mark got some cojones on him. So he was like, you know what? I'm going to come and represent. So I'm just busting balls, Fatal.
Yeah, Fatal, that's the dude. He's busy. It's all good.
It is what it is. You know what I mean?
We're going to hold it down.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. I'm trying to maybe hold off on the topic a little bit until Danny or at least Low Key gets in here. But you know what? We're just going to get into the business. We're going to get into the show. What up, Poe? What up, Nadia? Jason Lee Tucker, thank you for popping in. Basel as well. So if you guys don't know, I think it was over the weekend, or I can't remember what day it was, but there was this huge brawl in Alabama they call it the Alabama Riverboat Brawl. And man, hold on. What's rest in peace for Beaming Kun who died? Let me know. But I have a video. The video that I found is like from the beginning. So we're going to play that video. We're going to discuss it. I would love to hear what Mark has to say about it. And JG, I wish Roberto was here to talk about it, but we'll get his perspective on it next week. So let's bring up the video and we'll see how it goes, guys.
That guy in the white shirt is crew from our little dinner cruise boat. We got off our ship to go over there to move that black pontoon boat on his own because those guys who parked there were told not to leave it there and they left it there. So he's just pushing it on. That's
I hope that music don't
Chick matters to do down here. So I love it.
We're gonna get into that. Don't worry.
I hope the police give him a big old chicken. Ooh, confrontation with the owner of the boat.
Let's pause it there for a second, right? So first off, I don't know if you guys have ever been on like one of them little cruise boats or whatever, but obviously where the dude parked is where this boat is supposed to be. So right then and there, he is in the wrong. And to not like, you know, oh, okay, my bad, let me move my boat kind of thing, when the guy who works there is telling you to move your boat, right? You can see he even tries to like unhook it or whatever. But at that point, like, you're completely wrong. What do you guys think?
Well,
oh, go ahead, bro.
Okay, just start off in this first part right here. And it seemed like he told multiple people of that same party, you cannot park the boat here. Therefore, you need to move the shit out the way. Not just for your safety, but the safety of other people as well. What is so hard about that? Well, when you are people who are so privileged and you mix alcohol with it, and I don't want to hear the alcohol excuse, because alcohol doesn't make you do anything. It just allows you to be free to be who you are already, right? And so it's just, he's a man of authority. Whether he be a lowly security guard or a director, he's still a person of security. He tells you to move the boat, move the freaking boat. Problem solved.
Mark?
Well, first of all, thank you for like bringing it back to where it actually started. I actually hadn't seen that before. I only saw when the situation came to a head. I just saw the brawl part. But to see how this thing got started, oh yeah, you got to start off in the right. He started off in the wrong. So right there, that just shows you, he was messed up. I mean, I'm assuming that the other guy, he identified himself. I can't tell. I guess he's wearing a uniform of some sort, right?
Yeah, he's wearing.
Okay, so he knows.
Co-captain. That's what Boss just.
Okay, so all right, so he knows who he represents. He knows what he represents. So it should be cut and dry. You're parked where you don't belong. You need to move that shit. It's just that simple.
Absolutely, and that's why I wanted to play this video, because I know I'm like you. I seen it from the brawl starting, right? And there's going to be a lot of people that'll say, well, we don't know what happened before that. What did he do? What is this? And what is that? So Danny sent this to me and I was like, oh shit, thank you, Danny, for sending it to me from the beginning. And it's good that the people that were on the boat were actually recording from the beginning of it, right? They were actually like, listen, something's wrong here. They were probably waiting on that pier or close to the pier for longer than they should have been, and be like, yo, like, why are we docking? And then find out this is what the case is. So we'll continue with it because we'll see how it escalates. He's pointing. He's like, look, the boat, he's pointing.
Yeah, you're telling multiple people you can move the boat.
Exactly.
Oh, I love our people, man. They're still not moving the boat.
Yeah.
You turn the head backwards, you know what time it was. Cue that music, man.
You know?
Perfect.
Not really perfect because YouTube and a fucking music shit, you know what I mean? And I think this is right where he gets. This is right where he gets tackled.
Oh shit.
So that's where it stops, right where he gets tackled, right? He's about to get jumped. So now, as you're watching the video, you see the man is kind of being like he's aggressive, but he's still like being calm. You know what I mean? And then dude attacks him. What do you guys thoughts on this so far?
I wouldn't even say he's being aggressive. He's being animated. You know,
exactly.
Obviously, because I mean, he's been trying to explain this to these people for longer than it should have been necessary. So after a while, I think it's perfectly understandable to be like, listen, you got to move this right now. You know what I mean?
Facts.
These are paying customers. Move it. What are you not understanding about this? All right. So I don't see anything that he's done wrong at this point.
Neither have I. And go ahead.
I was gonna say, like Mark saying, you know, time is money. You know, these boots got to be moving in rotation. Like, okay, this boarding this one, okay, go around, okay, next group, come on, right? Because you don't want to have to pay these refunds all these people. It's a business; it has to run. And he's telling multiple people move the boat. So the first couple times, I'm calmly telling you, hey, you need to move the boat, move the boat, move the boat. And if they're if they drink a lot of alcohol, they're probably belligerent, probably all up in his personal space. He's like, look, I told you twice, move the boat. They're not listening. Now you guys get a little animated. Look, I told you several times to move the fucking boat out the way. Not saying he cursed, that's probably what could have happened. Because we're human. Eventually we're going to get irritated and just words going to fly out. But then,
100%.
You know, this other guy, this shorter guy gets in his face. You can see he's in his face. And the guy's telling you, look, he turned the hat on backwards and let you know, okay, I'm getting a little irritated at this point. You know, it's ridiculous. He told you after the first time, move the boat. Plain and simple.
But these guys wanted to continue. So after they jump him, we get the brawl.
Okay, hold up. Nzo, whoa. I'm just curious because, okay, now all of a sudden we're into the melee and it looks like the boat is at the dock. Is that what's happening here?
Well, there was a lot that happened in between what you saw before we went to that. A lot of stuff happened in between. But from what I remember, I was up 3-4 hours watching. It was hilarious, but at the same time, it's like, dude, this could have been prevented if they just moved the fucking boat in the first place. But you know, so the guy you saw kind of running to him. Okay, I was gonna play that.
Okay, yeah. So it looks like the boat is docked over here.
So the other boat has. So at this point, the other boat has been moved.
Yes.
No, I don't think so. What has been moved? So I know it was a group of guys because after the fight with the co-captain, there was about 4 or 5 different people jumping on him. There was another part where a young teenager from another boat swam across to go help him out. Who was 16 years old. So they call him Aquaman. That's his nickname, something like that. So he swims across. And there was another guy before the guy swam across trying to break the fight up. So it was about, I want to say 6, if people in the comments can let me know if I'm correct, 6 or 7 white people look like jumping on one guy.
So I think this No, that doesn't mean.
Because
Okay,
a lot of
I'm gonna
videos
find
been
it. Go
taken
ahead, Mark.
down.
Yeah, no, I just see that. What is this? HT Bossel LD. He's saying the boat docked on another company location.
Yeah.
So the offending boat has now been moved, but before it moved, they jumped the co-captain.
Yes, I have it.
Okay,
I have it here. Okay, so here's what happens after the video we seen. So remember, it comes with him jumping him, right? So here.
Yeah, see, don't skip that part. That's what I wanted to see.
Here.
He throws a head in there. That was funny. So it's a 1-on-1 at this point.
Right.
The other guy jump in. Another guy jumps in. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If you count the women, that's about 7. Here's another guy coming in trying to break it up. You'll see the teenager, the second swim across. There he is, right there.
Boy.
Aquaman. Dude, you see the amazing Lucas? Oh, he had me dying. He said, "Dude, why y'all watch the video?" Dude, that dude was he had me dying.
But they say black people can't swim. Well, that's not true.
What Lucas said. Like, dude, why you giving them my secret? Don't let them know we can swim. That shit was funny. So then that's when these guys pop up.
Yes.
Like, you're not finna jump on one eye. Bam.
So you can see the guys in the blue shirt. They were the same ones that were on the boat because you can see, like, it looks like they work there, right?
Yeah, they're working. They work there.
Yeah.
So police started coming. Now you see the men did really well, maybe one, but the women came in, started jumping on the other women, the white women. Mm-hmm. Boom, push it.
Mm-hmm.
So now when the numbers start getting a little more even, they start running away. Boom.
She caught it. Hey, you want to jump in, man?
Exactly. As I told people, you jump in, you liable to get caught. It's just how it is.
100%. 100%.
Now what?
Now that's where
that's when the brawl starts really kicking off.
Yeah.
Again, right.
Like, that shit lasted a lot. That fight was long, right? Yep. They just kept going at it.
Look, then the women come around and jump the other one.
Listen, at this point, you can't tell me that N-word wasn't swinging around there constantly during this brawl.
There's the chair.
You know what I mean?
There's the chair.
The memes with that chairman had me crying.
Oh, don't worry. We're going to get into some of those later, too.
Yeah.
Boom. Now, when he hit the woman, she's already, now that was a little too far. You can, I'll wait till you stop.
So they did the right thing. They stopped the man that was using the chair, right? They grabbed him. They put him down. I believe that's him, right? They did the right thing on that. But
yeah,
I don't feel and you may say under your dick or whatever, but I don't feel no sympathy for the woman that hit with the chair. You got yourself involved in this mess. I'm sorry. If you want to go in there and act like you big boucher and you're a big man and you want to fight like a big man, then you got to expect to get hit like a big man. I'm sorry.
You got a point.
It is what it is, man. Because, I know if there's a brawl like that, you know what I mean, going on, I wouldn't want my woman to be jumping into that. You know what I mean? She may want to come in to protect me, but at the same time, I can't protect you either because I'm focusing on what the business at hand is, right? And
yeah,
maybe he went too far with the chair, but at the end of the day, that's your fault. That's your fault.
Yeah. And what got me was when the police showed up, they started handcuffing these shirtless black guys at first. It was onlookers on one of the I guess I don't know where they were standing on some stairs, letting the officer know, hey, they were the ones that started it. So that's why shout out to people that recorded it from beginning to end, because had we not have had
No
that,
worries, Danny.
there's no telling what would have happened.
Right. But you
Damn.
see, I can't really, when the cops are coming in at that point, they're just seeing a bunch of people fighting, right? So it looks to me like they just grab people. You see someone with a chair, that's probably the first person you're gonna grab. So I don't really blame them for that. You know what I mean? But we find out later, which I'll show the video, is when they do the press conference, the police, and they talk about who's getting charges. It's 3 white dudes, and they want the black guy that did the chair for questioning, right? So Basel said for 45 minutes, the riverboat signaled that pontoon to move. So the co-captain had to go on the raft to go back on the dock. I got you.
Wow.
Have you seen the parodies they did? Yeah, we'll get to that.
Those are so funny.
He's being direct and he's frustrated. Yeah, 100%. And I'm sure the people on the boat were frustrated as well, too. You know what I mean? At this point, it's like, yo, this cruise is over. I want to get off the boat and do what I got to do. So the people on the boat were frustrated too.
And there's people waiting to get on the boat. I'm pretty sure. You know what I'm saying? It's like, the people who are up next.
Facts, 100%. Whenever I see a hat thrown in the air, I'm coming my way. I'm coming with it, with my chair. Yeah. So supposedly I'm hearing once the hat went in the air, that was the rally call. You know what I mean? And
they said a bat signal. They had me rolling.
The bat signal. Oh, that hat is in the air? All right, guys, let's get it. But
it's funny. As soon as you throw it in the air, they start coming. Like, that's what made it even funny.
Listen, it was good. And I think Mark will agree with this, even though it's a bad situation, but it was good to see the brothers get in there and stand up for one another. You know what I mean? To stand up there and say, we're not taking this bullshit. Now, had it had just been a one-on-one fight with the security guard and the dude, then fine. But once he was jumped by a bunch of white people, it's over. It's over. What do you think, Mark?
Yeah. Unfortunately, there's no ignoring the racial aspect of this. It's like, I would love to say that it was just a matter of people acting crazy, and it was people acting crazy. But the way they jumped him, there's something to that too. You know what I mean? You can't ignore that part of it, where they were just going to jump this dude and beat him down and think that it was all going to be good. So, man, honestly, man, it's just another one of those situations. They fucked around and found out. Basically, it was just the wrong time. It was the wrong day. It was the wrong dude. You know what I mean? With the wrong crowd. Because unfortunately, we've seen this type of scenario before, where look, George Floyd. I remember doing a video about that. Like, part of the outrage for me was how those people stood on the sidewalk and watched it happen. Like, you know what it takes to actually watch a man just die that way? You know what I mean? And nobody just said, yo, I got to do something. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like, it was refreshing to see people say, nah, it ain't going down like that in front of me. So, it had to be, bro, because who knows how long they were going to take that? How far they were going to go with that? Just keep on kicking the dude, beating him?
For
what? You look at the racial history of Montgomery, and it's a long, still ongoing racial history. I don't care what anybody wants to say. It's still in South Mississippi, Tennessee, same thing. The whole southern region still have racial tensions. Might not be as prominent as it was in its 50s and 60s, but it's still there. And I think I saw that dock used to be like a slave port at one time, where they would bring slaves and auction them off, I think. But then it got the chair, and I was saying to myself, there's a lot of generational just anger behind those swings. Those are one of those swings and punches that, I'm not dealing with this anymore. And every 2-3 generations, we have those younger group of people, or whether young or middle age, who come out and say, you know what? Y'all may have dealt with this back then, but we're not dealing with this anymore. You will not jump one of ours and think you're going to get away with it. No, we come in full force. You jump one of us, 10 of us are coming after you.
Yeah, I think, like for the past generations and stuff, when you look at the civil rights movement, the Southern Baptist, Christian, all that stuff, everything was about nonviolence, because at that time, it wasn't that a lot of people just were nonviolent. I think it was part of their agenda. They were trying to show who the savages really were. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And in order to do that on a world stage, they adopted nonviolence. You know, because I know a lot of old heads that I talk to, uncles, you know, grandparents, things like that. There was a lot of fire in those streets, bro. It's like a lot of them didn't want to do it that way. You know, a lot of them were on some Nation of Islam, you know, Malcolm X, Black Panther type stuff. But they wanted to give the nonviolence thing a try first because they wanted people to see themselves, you know? So here we are 40, 50 something years later. And it's just like, nah, we ain't doing nonviolence. When violence is inflicted upon you, then you got to defend yourself. You know, and that's the kind of thing that they were talking about back in the day too. You know, Malcolm and them, they were saying it's a simple thing. You're not looking to attack people, but you just ain't going to get attacked. You know, like that time, what we were trying to prove back then has already been proven. At this point now, we're just not going to be stationary victims.
Facts, 100%. And like I said, man, I appreciated that. You know what I mean? Because usually you just see people standing around watching. Oh my gosh, look, you know what I mean? This dude swam. He said, fuck that. Jumped off the boat he was on and fucking booked it over there to be like, yo, I'm getting into this, you know?
And he was fully clothed with shoes on, swimming that fast. They get over there. The Olympics need to give him a call to get him out there because, dude, that was crazy.
Shit, man. You know, it's just because here's the thing. It's like I remember when I did my my commentary on George Floyd, I was a little bit upset because I was saying to we were all upset, but I was saying to my son, I was like, listen, the messed up part about this is that if anything like this ever happens in front of us, then I'm probably going to have to risk my life. You know what I mean? Because I'm not going to stand there as a man with my young boy next to me and have my boy looking at me like, Dad, why didn't you do something? You know what I mean? It's like, that's where we are today. So, you know, a lot of us men, you know, we are, we're in front of our women, you know, we're in front of our children and stuff. And we just can't do that anymore. We just can't be like, I might get a whooping if I do anything. You know what I mean? Nah, you know, it's when you take, even if you take race out of it, it's human decency.
Yes.
You know, you're just not going to let somebody get brutalized and slaughtered in front of your face, you know, like that. So, you know, to me, it's cut and dry, bro. It's like, it's not happening. No way, no how, not in front of me. And I think that's how they felt out there.
100%. You know what I mean? And it was good to see. But that brought up stuff like this. Now, this one had me dying. I don't know if you guys seen this one, but I'll show this meme.
Oh my goodness. Oh wow.
Man, it's been like that all week.
Hey, I always say this: the internet always fucking wins. I don't care. They all. Sometimes it's just like, oh my god, I can't believe they thought about this one, right? So I have this other one here. Let me show this other one I have too. Shit, I stopped sharing. Hold on, I'll bring it up. I was like, man, these guys are no joke. I was at work too, right? But I was just going through it, and I'm like, oh my god, like these people, they don't stop. It's like nonstop memes and chairs, and I was dying, bro. I couldn't stop laughing. So there's this one here too. Go ahead, Mark.
Nah, I was just gonna say it's the gift that keeps on giving right now.
Facts, 100%.
Oh yeah,
this one here.
Really pisses me off, right? All this really does is ignore and erases the disabled kids that want to participate, right? So what you're going to want to do, if you have a crutch, you take your crutch, you put your hand at the middle, you use your elbow like a fulcrum, then from one side to another. You see the momentum? Yeah. Okay. Next time, just make it more accessible and inclusive.
I remember.
swear.
You guys remember the
Yeah,
famous Malcolm X photo? He's looking out the window with I think he had an AK-47. There's a guy where he dressed like Malcolm with a chair in his hand, looking out the window. That shit had me dying. I'll see if I can find it. Oh my
man,
God.
they had one where some dude is just, you see a chair and it has like an infrared light on it, and then and then there was this guy that did this one, and I'm just like, man, people
My
don't
name
stop.
is Point of View, and I'm joined today with the chair from which many artists to be my memory, Riverfront Brawl.
The chair. What is the chair? Got a do rag? What is that?
You know?
Yep. Boom.
Yeah.
Kabong!
It is. How are you today, DeMonte? I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right. I'm just happy to be on the right side of history, man. Here to tell us what happened in Montgomery. Man, I was smoking a blunt, thinking about the pussy I was gonna get later. Had a date with this bad bitch from IKEA. Thick ass, 3-seat sofa from the clearance rack. Not 2, 3. 3 seats, nigga. That's a thick bitch. Big ass bitch. So I'm minding my business, thinking about her big burly ass, when this black security guard politely asked these white people to move their punk ass boat so that the riverboat could dock and the patrons could safely get off. What happened next? The white people ain't take too kindly to the request and started jumping the black security guard. Next thing I see is black Aquaman swimming across the river to help the security guard. And that's when you jumped. That's when I whispered to one of the niggas next to me and told him, pick me up. Why'd you do it? You know, a lot of people look at me and assume I'm white, when in actuality, I'm just white passing. And I just saw an opportunity to use my privilege as a super duper light-skinned nigga from Alabama. Thank you for joining us, and thank you for your service, DeMonte. The pleasure is all mine, man. If you'll excuse me, I gotta go bust open a lamp.
Oh my God.
Shit is
The
stupid.
memes are, you know what I mean? Like, the internet just has no chill whatsoever. The drums of liberation,
terrible.
to quote One Piece. You saw the Malcolm X
Yeah, that's
one?
what I
Yeah,
was
he's
talking
talking
about,
about
yeah.
it. Yeah. My TikTok homie did his chair jiu-jitsu video. I don't know if you've seen that going around yet. No, I haven't. Love seeing the creativity coming out of this. You know what? Hey, they make fun of everything, so might as well just have fun with it, you know? They even have a video. I don't have it, but they have a video of these guys, these black guys and these white guys at a pool, and they're doing like a recap of it. They're pretending to fight and everything. It's fucking hilarious, man.
Yeah,
But
yeah. There's some
it's
classics.
it's a bad situation, but at the end of the day, you know, you're gonna have to find something to come out of it. You know what I mean? Like, at least you can have a little bit of fun with it. Doesn't always have to be serious, especially if you weren't involved, because at the end of the day, here's what happens.
The suspects thus far have been identified as Richard Roberts, white male, 48 years old, with 2 outstanding warrants for assault, 3rd degree. Alan Todd, white male, 23 years old, 1 warrant for assault, 3rd degree. And Zachary Shipman, white male, 25 years old, 1 warrant for assault, 3rd degree. We have instructed those individuals to turn themselves into law enforcement, and as at this time, 1 is secured and in custody. The other 2 are set to turn themselves in within the suspects thus far in the next hour. We're also asking for Mr. Reggie Gray, the black male, 42 years old, who was seen wielding that folding chair, to contact the Montgomery Police Department for further interviews and as part of this investigation. As the mayor said a minute ago, this investigation is ongoing and more charges are likely in the next hour.
So, I mean, yeah, I don't wrong them. The man was hitting people with a chair. He's gonna get questioned. There's no issue with that, 100%, right?
Nah.
Huh? Go ahead.
Yeah, you can't just be hitting somebody with a chair, bro.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
I know.
You know, I mean, they'd have to investigate, just see if he was defending himself at least. You know what I mean? You just can't be
Exactly. That's
going-
what I'm saying, right?
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
But you notice they didn't put a warrant out for him or anything like that, right? They just said, you want you to come in, answer some questions. They'll probably say, you know, it was the heat of the matter. He didn't know it was a woman. He'd probably just swinging. You know what I mean? I'm protecting my view. I'm just swinging. You know.
Bro, when he said wielding that folded chair, that's what got me right there. The man wielding the folded chair.
Hey, listen. At the end of the day, man, we came together. We saw something that was going on, and we did what we had to do. There's going to be casualties of war. It's just that simple. You know what I mean? And the one that got hit with the chair was a casualty of war. I don't feel sorry for you.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, I am so glad that I got to see like the jump off point, because like I said, I was just seeing all this craziness. I'm like, what's going on here and all that stuff. But yeah, I don't have much problem with this, man. I mean, it's sad when violence breaks out and it just gets out of control. You know, that's probably not a good look for the kids and stuff like that. But damn it, if you're gonna fight for something, I think that was worth fighting for. You know what I mean? You're protecting a dude who's just like, he was just doing his job, and they rushed him in front of everybody. Now they're punking all of us at this point. You know what I'm saying? It's like, yeah, we're gonna whoop his ass. You know what I mean? What y'all gonna do about it? Well, they found out. You know,
facts. 100%.
I can't be mad at that, bro.
Hold on.
But you know, and I want to give a shout out to the women that backed the men up in that chaos, because you know it was. I'm not a man of violence per se, but sometimes you just got to throw that hammer. You know what I mean? Sometimes you just got to do it, and I want to see that same energy though within our own communities as well.
Yeah,
if somebody in our own community is not acting right, I want to see us get together and say, you know what, no more of that too.
Absolutely, 100%. Danny said he didn't know it was a woman. Really? Yeah, you never know, man. I'm not saying he did or he didn't. Well, I said he didn't, but I said maybe he didn't, because when you're in that battle and you just swinging, he seen someone on the ground and just swung. You know what I mean? It could have been like out of his peripheral or whatever, and he saw someone as a victim. Like maybe he did think he knew it was a woman too. I don't know.
Danny,
but
look,
I'm
keep
saying
in
that's
mind
what
too.
I'm gonna say.
Keep in mind too, it's 2023. You don't know if anybody's a woman anymore. So let's just put it like that. It's like I don't care if he's wearing a dress or what. Everybody's fair game now.
The man probably heard the ancestral the drum beats in his head. He saw red. He heard the ancestor say, "Whoop that trick, and he she should have jumped in. And she had red on too. Can't help it. I mean, he's already seeing red. She got a red dress on. She was already in the fray before she went on the ground after those queens beat the shit out of her too. So you know, it's like Nzo, like he said earlier. If you don't want to get involved, don't jump in. Back your ass up.
And here's what Perp sent. So let's check this out.
After witnessing my brothers and sisters take off. See, I practice my chair jutsu. I haven't used this skill in years. As the last time I used it, I sent 4 people to the hospital with concussion. Their brains turned to jelly. It's a daily skill passed down from the hood master to hood master. Baby daddy to baby daddy. It's a powerful skill. When thrown, the chair can cause riots, but it's necessary.
That man is into it too, man.
He's a Jedi with it. Look at him.
Really. You know, and for those who kind of talk about, you know, because we're laughing about a lot of other people laughing about it. Look, we are people who's always had to smile and say, you know what, there's always gonna be a better day through all the adversity we faced throughout since the beginnings of us being in America as slaves and on and after that. We've always had to, even when called, excuse my French, but when being called nigger boy and John throughout our lives, we had to smile and say, yes, sir, keep on moving. So when we're laughing, when we're smiling, that's something we've always had to do. We're probably the only group that's had to do it and still do it and still rise up and say, you know what? Put up the middle finger sign and say, you know, I'm still here. What you gonna do?
Right. And I wish there was dialogue into that video too, like we could hear what was going on. Now, I'm not gonna put anything in anybody's mouth, but like Mark said, the way it was racially motivated, I'm sure that N-word was spitting around constantly. You know what I mean? Like they probably were saying it from the beginning, because it looks like they had no respect for this man whatsoever when he's telling them, listen, you need to move your boat. He's pointing to the boat. He's showing them he's a security there or whatever he does there. And they had no respect for him whatsoever.
Mhm.
The respect that they had was to jump him. So 100% they were saying that N-word around constantly. I don't doubt that. I really.
Yeah. I mean, look, like I said before, you can't start off in the wrong. You know, that's like I say, like you're parked in a handicap spot or something like that. You know you're wrong for doing that. You know, if you get busted, you got to move your shit. You know what I mean? Somebody comes by and says, what are you doing? You got to go. Oh, he caught me. You know, I don't want to get like a $500 fee. Let me move out of here. But you don't just start escalating it. You got caught. Absolutely. You're in the wrong. Move. At what point do you end up tackling the dude? You know what I'm saying?
Real.
It's like, nah, they were way out of pocket, bro.
Absolutely, 100%. Well, with that being said, guys, that was a great topic, man. It was good to talk about that. We got another one to talk about. And like I said, it's okay. So I seen this video on Twitter, and I was like, man, this is the reason why you guys' gun laws are so messed up, right? So I don't know if you all know who Charleston White is, but check this video out, okay? I'm gonna bring it up here just in a second. Let's see here. Okay, boom. Close up that because Perp was there. All right, so watch this video now.
Brick baby, I am terrified. I am afraid for my life. If you bother me, I'm gonna put 50 cal on your motherfucking ass. I'm gonna put this motherfucking 50 cal on your motherfucking ass. I don't want to fight. I'm a disabled 46-year-old black male. I don't want to fight, nigga. I'm play fight. You trying to fight for real? I don't want to fight. I am terrified of my motherfucking life. And if you bother me, you and them rolling sissy niggas, I'm gonna blow you bitches with the ring with this motherfucking 50 cal. I am afraid for my life. I do not want to fight Brick Baby. I do not want to fight. Let me show you how big the bullets feel, cuz. I am afraid. I am terrified of my life. I am afraid of Brick Baby. I am terrified of Brick Baby. And if you see how long the mother, I am afraid of Brick Baby. I am terrified of Brick Baby. This bad boy go right off in here. Yeah, I ain't gonna load it up, but just know I know how to shoot this big bitch. Yeah, you fuck with me if you want to, you bad motherfucker. And I know how to put this bitch on my shoulder. Boom! Well, then let's go. You got a kick to it now, motherfucker. Now bother me if you want to. These bullets long. I knocked the whole Crenshaw block out. I put the whole.
So we don't need to watch the rest of the video. He's talking about that. So my original comment was, this is why American gun laws need to change. Is there any reason? Like, I can't see any reason for a man to own a gun like that. A regular man to own a gun like that, right? Now, I know, because I'm not saying that we need to take, like I never said take away your guns, right? But that gun should be illegal for someone to can't have. Why do you need that? The bullet was almost as big as his hand. Why do you need a gun like that?
Yeah, the whole gun was bigger than him, right? And he had a 3-time scope on her too. I mean, it's who the fuck is he? What Decepticons around here? You trying to kill? Freaking what? What do you call them? Freaking Creed, the scrolls coming down here or something? You trying to kill? Like what do you need that for? Like I say, all you need, you really look. If I need something like that to kill somebody, I don't need a gun. Period. Right?
It sounds like the dude got beef with somebody, right? Chicken wings, whatever you're saying.
I've heard him on a lot of podcasts, stuff like that. He's known for coming at people a certain way, and I don't know. The dude's weird.
So he has a beef with someone, but the guy, I guess, challenged him to a fight. Mm-hmm. And his response was, I'm scared, I'm not gonna fight, but I got this. Like I don't like, we have guns here, people carry the guns, we got permits and everything. You can have a gun here, that's fine. But that gun is fucking illegal here in Canada for sure. You cannot own a gun like that here in Canada. So I'm asking, why? Why do you need that?
So the guy who was challenging him to a fight was challenging him to a fist fight.
Yes. And
Okay,
his response was the gun.
Okay, so he does not want to fight this gentleman, right?
Yes.
So
Correct.
he wants to discourage this gentleman from continuing to push for a fight. So he showed him something that will undoubtedly end his life. So do you think that the other gentleman will continue to push him for a fight?
If the other guy has a bigger gun, yes.
Okay, so
we're talking about a Crip, right? The guy he's talking about fighting is a
Roller
Crip, a
60.
gang member, a Crip member. So they have guns too. So
Right,
now
right.
you're just escalating a fist fight to a gunfight.
He's trying not to fight. See, this is the reason why countries have standing armies, and they call them peacekeepers. You know, because if you don't want to get this work, then you might want to stand down. That's the way governments work. You know, so what's wrong with people as individuals doing what the government does? You know, it's like what's one of the number one one of the top movies in the country here anyway is Oppenheimer, whatever the case may be. All right, America, I think, is like the only country, one of the only countries to ever drop an atomic bomb on a country. You know, basically just saying, listen, we got this. That makes us a superpower. Y'all are going to leave us alone. You know, you're going to stay out of our borders. You're going to stay out of our business, whatever the case may be. Doesn't make it wrong or right, but it is survival of the fittest. You know what I'm saying? So if you're just looking for the reasons why, I'm not trying to justify it. You know, I got questions about that too. You know, you walking around with a cannon or whatever. Do you really need that? But, you know, we've all heard the old saying, bringing a knife to a gunfight. You can't be talking greasy if the person on the other side has got something bigger than you, got something better than you. You know, you might just want to just chill. So I think that's more the mentality, not just I just want to be killing dudes. It's more like I'm going to get, like what he was saying in the video. Y'all are going to leave me alone. I don't want to fight you. You know? And I think that's more the mentality.
No, I get that, right? And if you want to pose off or whatever, you don't need you could have a Glock, you could have a handgun or something, right? No human being needs to own a gun that big.
But the gun has been manufactured. So in other words, you know, something I always say, right, is if something is jumping off, I have made up my mind, I'm going to be the craziest mother effer in the room. You know what I'm saying? Like nobody is going to out crazy me just because when you allow somebody else to intimidate you, to go over the top on you, to get out of pocket on you, then you basically lost, you know? So, I mean, we've all been raised this way. You know what I mean? You got to sometimes be the craziest dude in the room. There's nothing crazier. There's nothing bigger. There's nothing stronger. There's nothing wilder. You know, there's nothing I'm not going to do if you get me started. So please don't start with me. It's like the old Hulk movie, the old Hulk show. Don't mess with me. You wouldn't like me when I'm angry. Don't fuck around. You know what I mean? So I think that's what it is. Like he's got that gun, right? But if he didn't have that gun, the next dude would have that gun because the gun exists. It's been manufactured. So it's kind of this mentality where I got a gun that's bigger than yours. You know, and what you just said, unless the other guy comes back with a gun that's bigger than his. You know, so that's kind of the mentality. Like I said, I'm not talking about the rights and wrongs of it, but it's just the way of the world, man. You know, sometimes you got to be ready to go ahead.
No, keep going. I just wanted to bring something up. Go ahead.
Yeah, sometimes you have to be the one who's ready to shut it down. Like you ain't taking me. You know what I mean? So you might want to think about this or rethink this because he's not saying I'm coming for you. That would be different. If he said, you see this shit right here? Yo, we're going to do this. You know, we got a date. I'm marking it on the calendar. I'm going to get your ass. He's saying, I don't want it with you. All right. I don't want this. I don't want to fight with you. All right. If you come after me, this is what's going to happen. So it's in your best interest to not come after me.
So I'll say this, right? Because hold on, I'm trying to find this video. Because this guy, Charleston White, is the same guy who was on Fresh and Fit talking about raping white women, right? This is the same guy who has felonies and been arrested and has, you know what I mean? Is that the type of person you want owning a gun like this? You know what I mean?
Nope.
There should be some parameters on someone being able, if you want to give people the chance to own guns or like that, there should be some kind of parameters to where, yo, you're a convicted felon. You are on the internet talking about raping white women. You should not be able to carry a gun.
Well, I kind of thought if you were a convicted felon, you couldn't buy a gun anyway.
See,
If I'm wrong,
that's you guys wrong.
If I'm wrong, somebody please correct me. But
it might be that way in
you're
certain
right.
states, but I would guess you would
have to look up Texas.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm like, that's the thing. It's like you have people who shouldn't be having guns on internet posting these guns.
But like I said, the guy's crazy. He goes on platform after platform, just running his mouth, saying some ludicrous, just crazy things. And I don't know how that beef or whatever you want to call it started, but he's had people threaten him before. So I mean, what Mark was saying, like, hey, I don't want to fight, but I will defend myself if you come my direction, or if I see you in my vicinity, I will. I'll let you know I have this and I will use it. So a lot of people that have guns like that, they don't plan on using it. They just want you to know that they have it. So it will scare you from even coming towards them. Because that's a little guy. So I'm curious about if he shoots that thing, would he fall all the way back somewhere? That's a big freaking gun.
But you see, that's the thing though, right? You got to also understand, yes, you may scare the average person, but if you're going up against a gang member, someone from the Crips or from the Bloods, that's not going to scare them. That's just going to be like, okay, so now when I see you, I need to make sure that I'm strapped. When I see you, I need to make sure that in my car, I have a bigger gun than you. That's what that brings, right? And this is the problem that I have. Listen, you don't want to fight. You're not a fighter. I get it, 100%. But back in the day, man, that's what it was. You fight. If you get beat, you get beat, but you live to fight another day, right? When you start bringing these guns into the situation like this, that can end someone's life, can end your life or his life, and put one of your asses in jail for the rest of your life. So two people's lives are going to be screwed. It just, I just find it's like, you know, okay, all right, fuck it. Let's fight. You know, you beat me, you beat me. I beat you, I beat you. But at least at the end of the day, we're going to settle it like men.
And if you want your get so right here, let's go.
So, you know, we're going to keep this localized, I guess, in America here. You look, think about the history, you know, of America, especially in these hoods and everything, because you're right there on the doorstep there, Nzo, of what the real problem is here. Because I say 9.5 times out of 10, we're going to use those weapons against ourselves. You know what I'm saying? And like you said, some of us are going to be in the ground and some of us are going to be in jail. And that's where we've been for the last 40, 50 years since the civil rights movement. You know, a lot of this stuff got started with the Black Panthers when the FBI, CIA infiltrated and everything. The hoods got flooded, you know, with these guns that we did not manufacture, you know, and people took long-standing rivalries and gangs and stuff like that. All of a sudden, it wasn't about knives and fists and bats and stuff like that like it used to be. Now, all of a sudden, you got high-powered rifles and guns that, you know, they don't even know how to shoot. Absolutely. You know, but there it is. You know, so that's really what it's serving. So unfortunately, when you come into these hoods and you got grandparents and, you know, older folk and stuff like that, people need to defend themselves. You know, they get pulled into this culture where you're just not going to have a bunch of people running around shooting and running up in your spot and taking what you have. You know, like I know, you know, my mom got jumped a long time ago, you know, and she was coming in late, you know, from work and all that stuff. Somebody got her in the driveway and, you know, put something to her neck and everything without realizing she's actually a peace officer. You've heard me say a million times, I come from a law enforcement family. So, you know, dude definitely found out that night, you know, because she had the presence of mind to get into her purse because he was trying to take her like in the back somewhere in the dark to do God knows what to her. And she was able to defend herself. And a lot of it stems from there. Nobody wants to be a victim. Nobody wants to be a mark or get caught out there, you know? So, you know, like I said, the culture just tends to come up from there. You know, everybody is scared. Everybody wants to be ready and defend themselves. So that's where we are here, you know. But if they wanted to, the government could stop that. They could regulate the flow of illegal weapons into the hoods and stuff like that. They don't want to. And that's the reason why it is the way it is. That's the reason why I only have so much problems with it, because I understand where it comes from. You know, so it's unfortunate, but there it is.
I agree with you 100%, right? That's why I say, like, you know, usually when you guys hear me talk about it and you say, you know, the laws, I'm not saying take your guns away from you. Not at all. You know, that's in your amendment. Everybody has the right to bear arms. I get that 100%. But you got to at least make it harder for certain people to be able to get these guns, you know, maybe because here you have to go through gun training, right? You have to. I think it's like maybe 8 hours of gun training or whatever, but you have to go to the range. You have to learn how to shoot a gun. That should be mandatory. If you want to own a gun, you should have to learn how to properly use it, right? If you have a criminal record, you shouldn't be able to own a gun. You know what I mean? If you're maybe mentally not stable, you shouldn't be able to own a gun. Let me get to the super chat real quick. Beaming Kun, $4.99. Thank you very much. He said, would you say it would be better if weapons were never invented? Same with the nukes and stuff. Well, you know, at the end of the day, humans are humans. We're gonna find some way to fight. You know what I mean? It's always been that way. When we didn't have guns, we had spears. You know what I mean? Slingshots or whatever it was that we could find to fight with. Fuck, we pick up a stick and a rock and we're using it as a weapon. So it's not about the weapons being created. It's about who's behind the weapon. I would say that. What's up, Loki? Thanks for popping in, man. Much appreciated.
What's going on, fellas? What's going on, everybody? Appreciate
not much,
it.
man.
Appreciate you letting me come through.
Not a problem. Perp said a lot of kids got those switches on their guns too. Switches? What switches? What switches? What do you mean switches? The safety you're talking about? I'm not sure what he meant. Baza LD, or they would be more afraid to pick up a chair, and it would move the breaking point so far out that it would never start. Okay, you guys having a conversation. I have no idea what you're talking about. They would be shooting.
Yeah, switches
you're talking about if the car
be automatic. If there's switches change it from single to automatic.
If they had the guns over there too as well, right? I'll take my tomahawk any day. Yeah, well, you got to be able to use a tomahawk. You know what I mean? And
you saw what the guy did with the chair. I mean, shit. You know, right. Then what you did with that. I mean, man.
Exactly.
I mean, remember that old classic scene from Raiders of the Lost Ark when my man takes out the sword and he's doing all this fancy stuff and he just shoots him. That is life. That is life. Okay. So, you know, as long as there's going to be people who's out there who's trying to take what you have, as long as you can accumulate wealth, there's always going to be somebody out there looking to take what you got. And jack that fool. You know what I mean? You see that man shining, get him. You know, because what you have, the next person does not have. So you got to be able to defend what you have. And sometimes, I mean, look, we see it every day. The law is not always going to be there for you. You know, law enforcement is not always going to be there for you at the time. So you have to have some form of security for yourself to make that bad guy, that bad person say, I ain't fucking with him. You know what I mean? And it's just that simple. Unfortunately, that's where we are.
Right.
So we got to share the world with some shady people.
Absolutely. What are you saying now, Loki?
I say you can go all the way back to Boys in the Hood, Furious Styles.
Exactly. So my question would be, like, would you be okay if their gun laws were stricter? Like I said, like, you know what I mean? Maybe you go and train and learn how to use it properly. Don't give it to convicted felons. Make sure that people are at least in the right mind before they own it. Would you be okay with those type of stricter laws? I'm not saying take them away from you, but at least putting in laws in place that are stricter where, you know, first you got to get the illegal guns off the streets too as well, right? But let's say they made an effort to do that, get the illegal guns off the street, and then put stricter laws in for people to own guns. Would you be okay with that?
I want to say we've tried that before with the you have to go to a gun range, got to go to classes, got to get a permit, got to get a license. You know, I want to say they did all that before. I know in my state, you know, they changed that to where you don't need a permit to carry a gun. But if you shoot somebody with a gun or if you use a gun in a crime, the penalty is more severe. But then again, you need to catch them first.
Right.
And you have a lot of young kids, especially here, where like there was 2 teenagers that robbed this lady with a gun, stole a car. They caught them. They released them. They said they weren't what was the word they used? They weren't there was no fear within when it comes to society. They're free to go. So you got a lot of these older cats that are getting young guys do all these crimes, they get right out of jail.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think it's that simple. I wish it were that simple, but it's just not that simple.
But just the fact that you don't need a permit to carry a gun in your state is kind of wonky to me.
Oh, there was a lot of complaints about that. Trust me. I mean, I got 3 of them myself, you know. So, you know, I went to a gas station, everybody's packing. You're right. So it's like, you know what? I need to make sure I got some on my side.
Well, let me ask you something. What's the crime rate like over by you?
Oh, it's ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. So everybody,
it's ridiculous.
Yeah, so everybody having, you know, a tool isn't really a deterrent to the crime.
No, not at all.
And I never thought that it would be, right? Because I know a lot of people think that, because everyone's strapped, that the crime is going to go down, right? But no, because depends on what kind of crime we're talking about. You know what I mean? People are still going to rob stores. People are still going to rob people that don't have guns and stuff like that. So I don't think the crime rate, maybe I'd have to look up the stats on that to figure it out. But I don't think that, like, just because everybody in the state has a gun, I probably think that would raise the crime rate. But that would just be my opinion personally. So I don't have no stakes or anything to back up what I'm saying on that part. But
and another thing too, you know, I would say too, because I was reading about this, the vast majority of fatalities from gun violence are actually self-inflicted.
Mm-hmm.
That's actually, So you know, that's another, so that's another side too. And I don't mean by accident either. You know, these are people who are taking themselves out with their firearms. You know, that's the majority of fatalities that come from that. So there's a deeper problem there as well. You know, because even if you didn't have the gun, if these people are inclined to do that, they do it with something else.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%, and I agree with that 100%. But that's where I'm saying, like, you know what I mean? Okay, I get what you're saying, that they would do it themselves. But those aren't people that should be able to own a gun in the first place. You know what I mean? You're right. They're going to find a way to do it if they're serious about it, but they shouldn't have a gun. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Not everybody you're going to know they're, you know, by looking at them, this guy's stable, he's not stable. You're not going to know that. But I think if, you know, maybe you applying to get your gun permit, maybe there's some sort of test that you go through to get it. You know what I mean? And to determine whether you're stable enough to own a gun. You know, I just think that those are things that could be put into place that doesn't really affect regular people from getting their guns, but it would also stop certain people from getting guns. I don't know. That's just my thoughts.
Oh, yeah. I want to answer Mark's question.
Not yet.
In
go ahead.
2023 so far in Memphis, Tennessee, there's 582.10% crimes per 100,000 residents.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
There's a 43.8% increase in property crime rate so far, and 7% increase in major violent crime rate. So everybody's packing. Everybody's got a head on a swivel. You know, I know you guys heard of Young Dolph, Memphis, Tennessee. He got killed violently. It's It's crazy. It's just
Yeah, we got a social issue going on here. You know what I mean? It's like, I can definitely accept stricter gun laws and stuff like that. I mean, in theory, but we do have other issues too. We're just not
Absolutely.
good to each other as human beings. We're abusive to each other. And like I said, if it wasn't for the guns, I think it would be expressed in more barbaric ways. We'd have, I mean, you look at some of these other countries out here, they're chopping each other up with machetes, and things like that. So it's like there are issues, there are deeper issues. It's just that, the guns, of course, they're there and that's what's being used and stuff. But it's a sickness, ultimately,
Absolutely.
that makes people want to harm each other lethally that way. So that's what we're dealing with.
And I agree with you 100%. I'm just saying, at least try something. You know what I mean? At least try. I think the first thing you do, and we know that they won't, but you try to get those illegal guns out the hood. That's the first step I think you should go through. Now, we know they won't do that, but we know that should be the first step. You know what I mean?
And that's the reason why you don't look outside of your community to solve your problems. You know what I mean? It's like, we know that we have a problem with self-love, and that's where I come from with just about every topic that I talk about. And that's what gets me called a coon and things like that, because I tend to look past what other people are doing, like the whole, like, for example, I don't want to get stuck here, but the whole Jason Aldean thing, try that in a small town, you know what I mean? It's like, my whole thing with that is, okay, he sang that song, all right, but how many songs do we sing to each other about protecting one another? You know what I'm saying? Well, what about him? And he was in front of that courthouse where I don't care about that, man. You know how many times I've made this point on Nzo? It's like, what about us? When do we talk to each other? You know what I'm saying? It's like, if other people have it in them to have this idea of self-preservation, then they're doing what they're supposed to do. The question is, why aren't we? You know what I mean? Don't worry about chasing them with a smoking gun. He's a racist. He's a racist. Okay, fine. What are we doing to love ourselves? It's like, that's what I'm saying. That's like blaming a tiger or blaming a snake for being a snake. They are what they are. Leave that alone. The question is, how do we build ourselves up stronger? So this is what I'm saying. It's like, okay, our hoods get flooded with illegal guns. Why are we picking them up and shooting at each other? You know what I'm saying? Like that's the challenge. That's what needs to be figured out. When we're kids. Yeah, when we're kids and everything, when do we learn to start looking at each other with resentment in our eyes for one another? Like it's like we should be singing the lyrics to that song. Round here we take care of our own. Yeah, that's cool. You cross that line, it won't take long. That's what I'm saying. That's why I said I don't have a problem with that. He's talking about protecting where he lives. I'm ready to start hearing some songs about us protecting where we live.
No, I get you. And because we already know what type of songs we get, right? Go ahead, JG. Then I want to hear Low Key. Go ahead, JG.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's why I said earlier. It was beautiful to see us fight for each other again on that Riverboat Brawl. But I want to see that same energy within our own communities. Take care of each other. And there's of course about the guns. Before the guns, there were the drugs. There was the homelessness. There was no jobs, right? So what happens? You take jobs away. You take opportunity away. What happens? I got to get it by any means necessary. Drugs start filling in the neighborhoods. Then what happens? We got to protect our block. So guns start flooding. So we got guns.
Yeah.
You have the OGs, who we like to call, who kind of kept, even though it was violence, they kind of kept things in check, so to speak. They're in prison. They're dead. You have the younger generation trying to take over. They have no sense or fear at all.
And they don't have no leadership.
No leadership at all. So you got adolescents with no sense, no leadership, no idea of a future with guns. What do you think is going to happen? You remember that movie the flies? The bunch of kids got stranded on this island, right?
Lord of the Flies.
Lord of the Flies. I think it was Lord of the Flies. We have a Lord of the Flies situation going on. We have a lot of young kids who have no sense at all, no leadership. We have parents who aren't parenting, right? What are they doing? They're out in the streets doing God knows what, having sex at early ages. They know within our community, the pregnancy rate is high, divorce rate is high, even though we marry within our own a lot of times. It's just chaos going on. So what can we do to fix all that?
Yeah. You know something, we can't apologize for being OGs in this game. You know what I mean? Like, I know, you know, a lot of cats out here, we don't see ourselves when we're growing up. A lot of us don't even see our lives past like 25 years old. You know what I mean?
Facts.
It's like, you know, we're doing what kids do. You know, we're getting it in, you know, we're thugging, all that stuff. But, you know, I know for a fact, like when I was coming up, I had no expectations for my life whatsoever. You know what I'm saying? I was just on that ignorant stuff and everything. But then I started thinking to myself, it looks like I'm probably going to live past 25. I never really saw myself doing that. You know what I mean? I'm like, how should I be? What should I be like and everything? Now that I know some shit, you know, maybe I should start reflecting some type of wisdom. You know what I mean? And just the things that I've been through, you know, like I've had experiences. All of us have had experiences. We're past a certain age. And I know when I was a kid, I wanted and respected guidance from people who knew better than me or who lived, you know, through some stuff. You know, like the old heads had some wisdom to impart. And a lot of times, if you listen to them, you see that they came up from a lot of the same things that we came up from, you know? So, you know, at this point in my life, it's like, I ain't trying to die shit, man. It's like, I want to represent who I am. I want to represent where I've come from. And, you know, my relationship with my son and stuff like that. It's like, I sit down with him and his friends all the time. And I'd be surprised how much they actually listen. They want to hear something that makes sense to them. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not trying to be like them. I'm not trying to talk like they talk. I'm not trying to dress like how they dress and everything like that. We laugh together and stuff. They call me old man sometimes, and it's all good, you know. But there's a lot of respect, you know. What's up, OG, you know, and stuff like that. And they talk, and they want to hear that, man. It's like, because the world is crazy, and the world is telling them that they're undesirable. You know what I mean? So they want to hear that they're worth something as men, and the girls want to hear something, like they want to know that there's men out there that they can trust, that will protect them, that will value them. You know what I mean? So it's like, when you start kicking that real to them, they actually respond to that, man. You know what I mean? And that's what I'm saying. That's why it is so powerful to have conversations like this. This is the reason why I talk the way that I talk on my channel and stuff. Even when I'm goofing off about stuff like that, the love and respect still comes through, you know, because I'm talking up to us. I've had enough of seeing us talk down to each other. You know, my nigga, my nigga, my nigga, my nigga. Nah, bro. It's like, I'm not doing that. I'm over that. It's like, stop identifying that way. Stop giving the best of humanity and human attributes. Stop giving that to white people. You know, only white people can talk a certain way. Only white people can live a certain way and stuff like. No, see yourself doing that too. It doesn't mean that you want to be them. It means that you want to be the best human being that you could possibly be. And God forbid, that might mean that you're even better than the other person. But you won't know until you shoot for that. You know, so to me, that's the ultimate message, man. You know, and if enough of us, if enough of us tell the kids these things, then they'll start to believe it. They'll start to see themselves past 25. Like I didn't see myself past 25. So I didn't plan for that, you know?
So that's what I was saying. Isn't that a huge problem? Like, if you don't see yourself living past 25, that's a huge problem. That needs to be fixed, right? 100%. That needs to be.
You know what they say? If you fail to plan, then you're planning to fail. You know, and how many of us are planning for anything? You know, one of the first videos that I did years ago was questioning whether we're raising husbands and wives in our community. And the answer is no, we're not raising husbands and wives, because a lot of us don't even know how to be husbands and wives. You know what I mean? But we gotta sit back and figure this thing out, man. Otherwise, we're gonna close our eyes for the last time one day, and it's just gonna perpetuate. It's just gonna keep going on and on and on, one generation after the next generation after the next. but we got to start accumulating some generational wealth. And when I say wealth, it's not just financial, it's also wisdom, it's smarts, it's values, it's morality, you know?
Sure. As I am about to turn 32 Monday, find myself thinking about a lot of so many of my friends didn't pass 21. Yeah, that's crazy. You know what I mean? That's fucked up. Low key, what are your thoughts?
Well, apologies for coming in late, and I'm trying to make sure I understand the subject y'all was talking about.
Basically, it started off because Charleston White, I showed a video where I think you've seen on my Twitter, and he has this big ass gun. And my point was, I don't see why anybody really needs to own a gun like that. But then we started getting
sniper rifle.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. Crazy. The bullet was bigger than the bullet was bigger than his hand, dude. Like, I'm like, who are you trying to shoot?
Unless you got them predator in the city, I don't think you need.
Oh my Lord, man! I'm just like, damn, bro. Like, okay, I get it. You balling, you got a big ass gun. Okay, good for you. But man, does anybody really need to own something like that? I just personally say no. But you know, I just think that you should do a little bit more with the gun laws. But that's just my opinion. You know, that's my Canadian opinion. I understand that, you know, Americans see their guns differently, and I get it 100%. Don't take them away. Just make it harder for people to get it. That's all. That's my point.
Yeah.
Next.
And then the messed up thing too, just real quick, is the you know, this gun thing is that a lot of times they don't even get their intended target, you know. Like it breaks my heart. It breaks my heart when I see like our little babies, you know, who get caught up in that, you know, little girl, something like 6 years old. You know, I saw a story, and you know, in my old age, man, I'm starting to get real like broken up about stuff like that. I get choked up. You know, it's like she's beautiful. You know, she's beautiful and she's dead. And it just keeps on going on and on, bro. And it's like we got to understand, man. It's like we can't afford to keep letting the enemies of our people do this to us. You know, like I said, you can put guns out there, you can put drugs out there and all of that stuff, but why the hell do we got to be so easy all the time, man? It's like, why can't we make a decision to just say, it can't be me? I can't do this. Because I know, like I said, I can only judge by myself. There came a time in my life when I was just like, I am not going to contribute to this. You know what I mean? And if I'm going to, like, the whole world tells us that we ain't shit. How can I ever believe otherwise if I don't start with myself? I'm proving my own stereotype. I'm proving my own, you know, bad press. You know, so I just said to myself, I got to clean up the way that I talk. I got to clean up the way that I act. If I'm ever going to believe in myself, because if I can't believe in me, how am I going to present myself to a young woman? You know, she's going to look at me like I don't want to live my life like that. You know.
I agree.
So
100%.
Yeah.
Brandon Wells said, re-register license every 2 years. Mental complacency test, vision gun range test. I would have no issues with that. You know what I mean?
mental competency, complacency would be a whole. That would be a problem if they're giving you a mental.
But I'm just saying, if that were the laws, if they did that, I'd have no problem with that. 100%. Absolutely not. You know.
Yeah.
And I don't think you know, like I said, I don't think any. Mark, you know, Fatal, you guys are gun law, got your guns, but I don't think you would have an issue with something like that. You know what I mean? Just make it a little bit harder. That's all. You know,
got you, bro.
So,
yeah. Oh,
next. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Nah, I just wanted to say this too. If it's about saving lives, because I came ready to get like gully on you, bro. I was gonna say, if it's about saving lives, then you're gonna have to answer this question, right? Because I think about 48,000 fatalities, you know, due to gun violence in America. I think in like 2020, you know, 48,000 at least, I would imagine. But you got comparable to that of people who die from cigarettes. Now, I didn't want to take it there because I just saw you lighting up before we went on. but I'm just saying, you know, you got about 47,000 fatalities due to smoking in Canada alone. You know, so it's like, where's the regulation if people really give a damn about life and everything? Because a lost life is a lost life. So I'm just like, where's the outrage for people who are losing their lives, not just to firsthand, but secondhand smoke, birth defects, all of that.
Oh, so here's the thing, because Canada has done a lot of things to try and stop people from smoking. So for one, our cigarettes cannot have any single writing on it. So before we used to, let's say you smoked the Demorier or whatever, you would see the little Demorier around the cigarette. There's no writing on it whatsoever. Our cigarette packs have warnings on them. So you'll see a picture with someone with a hole in their neck or something, and it tells you this is what cigarettes cause. 3, we cannot smoke anywhere indoors unless, of course, you're in your house. I can't go to a mall and smoke. I can't go to a club and smoke. I can't go anywhere indoors and smoke. So yes, Canada has done a lot to try and get people to stop smoking. They do a lot with that. It's just people still do it.
Yeah, got you.
A
lot of people are making money.
Oh, for sure, 100%.
So
100%.
So to me, it's industry is industry. You know what I mean? So that's how I see it. Whether it's alcohol, tobacco, firearms, people are just making a bunch of money.
Yeah, 100%. They legalized weed here because they realized how much money it was going to make them. That's the only reason why they did it, because they knew that it was going to blow up. And guess what happened? It did, all over Canada. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So, but again, and because I smoke, I like to educate people, and I like to tell people that weed has a lot of medical properties in it, right? That's one of the reasons why I'm like, okay, I'm glad that they did, because you can get certain strains that help with anxiety or depression, or help you with migraines and stuff like that, right? So that's why, for me, I would prefer weed be legal, and maybe if they were to ever ban cigarettes, then you could do that, right? Because it has no medical properties whatsoever. It just kills you. But at least weed can help certain people. Like if you go and Google the strain Charlotte Web, you will understand how important it is for some people to have certain strains of weed, right? So Charlotte's Web was created because of this little girl who kept having seizures, and she was having seizures like 5 every 30 minutes. Like, it was crazy. They ended up finding, they tried everything. They finally found a weed, CB oil, right? And they found one that cut down CBD. There we go. Thank you. Brain fart. That cut down her seizures to like 1 a month or something like that. And then it got to the point where the government made it illegal for them to get it. And they fought and they fought and they fought, because that was the only thing that helped out for her. So again, at the end of the day, when it comes to legalizing the weed, it also has medical properties as well. So
absolutely. Yep.
A lot of people don't know that, and they're like, oh, you smoke weed, but no, it helps with my migraines constantly. But next topic. Oh wait, hold on, let me get this comment. Okay, Nzo, but your nerves and stress over the time that the cigs takes to induce cancer, how can we say what will kill you faster? Well, it definitely would be cigarettes kill you faster, 100%. Cigarettes are the number 1 cause of cancer. You know what I mean? Simple and plain. And if you have cancer that runs in your family, you are even that much more, chances are you will catch it, So next topic I had is, do you guys know YouTuber Kai Cenat? You ever heard of him?
Yeah.
Know him now.
Unfortunately. Yeah.
You gotta know him. So he's basically a Twitch streamer, right? He has 20 million subs. 20 million. It's crazy, because I remember when he was doing his stream and it was like 19 million and just kept going up. And then it hit 20 million. He started crying and all kinds of stuff. But yeah, he probably has more now, over the 20 million. But this guy decided he was going to do a meet and greet, right? Said, you know what, guys, come out to New York. I'm going to give away PS5. I don't know how many PS5s he was planning on giving away, but he planned to give some away. This is what happened during his meet and greet. Now it's an 8-minute video. We're not going to watch the whole thing.
Welcome to New York, bro. I'm telling you, there's a lot of y'all out there right now. Everybody out there, make sure y'all safe. Appreciate everybody who popped out for y'all, bro. We're gonna make sure it's safe, bro. We're not gonna do nothing until it's safe. It's safe. Everybody's good. But find us already. Hold on. Play this one side, be good, so he can see. Yeah, look. Oh, they ready, bro. You feel me? I ain't gonna lie, it feels so good to be here. Like, hometown, like it's home court advantage. We got home court advantage, bro. Home court advantage. Look at this. Look at this.
You seem happy.
They standing like a fucking unity, bro.
We gotta get right here. I think this is a civil
right. That's right now. I bet. So we out.
So anyway, I think he had over 20,000 people there.
Where you can watch other people play video games.
Which is a thing.
These are the people that came out
so this
to his shit.
Cenat was going to do a giveaway. He announced it on his Instagram feed. And look at this. It's basically become a mob scene there. They're on top of the cars.
They are climbing on his
Union
car.
Square.
Well, Sandra, as you can see, I am standing next to the Union Square subway station entrance where it looks like it was closed off because of construction. But look up on top of that. That's what's happening on top of the subway station entrance. There's, I can't even count, countless people up on top of there.
Damn,
So anyways,
they brought out the battleships on them. Damn.
So look how much people are there. Make a long story short, there was a riot and things popped off. You know, people got hurt, people got arrested. But my thing is, and you can't, I can't really blame him for the actions of others, but at the end of the day, when you are that big of a YouTuber, you should have more organized meetups. You know what I mean? Like, hey, everybody, just come to New York, just come to the park, and
especially when you're dealing with a lot of young people.
Facts. And it's not only his content is kind of the, and I'll use Danny's word, act the kind of donkey. You know what I mean? Where he acts foolish and acts stupid and shit and does stupid shit. So the people that follow him are people that like that stupid shit and are probably going to do that stupid shit. Now, we just watched a bunch of, black people get together and protect one another. This guy has so much influence that he could do something like that, but this is what happens. What are your thoughts?
I mean, why not do the typical thing, which would be do a giveaway where to his subscribers, like, hey, such and such day, make a Discord, like, hey, hashtag or Twitter, I'm sorry, X, whatever they call it, hashtag this with a picture. I'll let you know if you win a raffle, something like that. Why go out to New York City and cause all that? It makes no sense unless your own ego, you just want attention. It seems more so he just wants the attention. He looks like a little guy, probably didn't get money girls or whatever he likes. You know, I'm sorry, I gotta say it, but he stars for attention. That's what I get from him when I see it. It made no sense to do all that. Just so you can just front and say, hey, I got all these fans. We all know you got over 20-something million subscribers. What more do you need? Like, it's ridiculous.
I think the same amount of people would have came out if he wasn't doing the giveaway and he just said, I'm coming out.
I don't know, I
think the PS5s might have made it.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too.
Yeah, it was PS5s, it was gift cards. I mean, he had all types of stuff, man. And these kids got nothing better to do than be online and see this stuff. And they're like, okay, we'll go down there, and before you know it, it's tidal waves. But he's only 21 years old. So, and that's 21 years old in 2023. So he might as well be something like 16, mentally, so he didn't know, I think, what his responsibility was, because I know, talking to, my son and everything, that's how I found out about him. and my son and my ex-wife, you know, his mom, they were getting into it because her thing was she felt like he should be held accountable, and my son was like, no, they should be held accountable. Each and every person who was out there acting up, you know, and I could see both sides of it. But when they said they were going to arrest him, I was like, I don't know about that part. You know, I don't know if he was inciting a riot. Exactly. I just think at 21 years old, I don't think that he just knew what his responsibility might be. Maybe he just saw it differently. You know, I don't think he knew it was going to be. I mean, who could know that it was going to get like that? You know, people like destroying property, jumping on top of cars and all of that stuff. You know what I mean? And I don't know, maybe he thought it was funny, like I said, being young and everything. But yeah, I mean, yeah, it's a rough thing to happen there. It just got out of control, man.
What do you think, Loki?
I think he ain't got people around him that necessarily can say like, yo, I don't think you need to do that, being that he's the one making all the money, he's the biggest star. And it's like, why am I going to listen to you? I mean, I'm the guy. You got to follow what I say. You got to follow my direction. And I think that's the thing too. I kind of agree with Perk too. I don't watch him all the time, but from what I've seen, I think he is from New York too, and I think he's from the Bronx. So that's another thing. More than likely, the way he came up, he probably didn't have a lot, and the fact that he got it so fast, it's like now I want to go back and kind of give back to, you know, some of the inner city kids that kind of coming up the way I came up.
And you know what? If that's the case, I take back everything I said. So I don't really watch the guy. I've seen him couple times briefly, but I didn't really just the NPC thing and all this. I just say I can't watch that.
I don't watch him like that either. I've seen one of his music reviews.
Okay,
I think with the Travis Scott album recently.
Yeah, there's no reason, man. I ain't trying to focus on 21-year-old,
but
I tell you,
right?
Yeah, exactly. I don't give a damn what he's doing.
You know.
But here's the thing, though. You know what Rick is saying is true. He was not thinking past 25. See, here's the thing, right? You guys know that hip hop has just had a 50th anniversary, right? You know, we're celebrating this all year and everything, and they just had this big old concert out in Queens, New York, where I was supposed to go, but unfortunately I couldn't. But you know, when you talk to those of us who came up during that time and everything, a lot of us did not know what we were contributing to as far as hip hop culture. It's just something that we did on the block. You know, this is something that was it was organized by LL Cool J, his whole Rock the Bells initiative and all that stuff. And we really did change the world, but we didn't know that because none of us were really thinking about legacy. We weren't thinking about over 25 and what this would mean. Watching a lot of those old acts, you know, they came out, Run DMC came out, L was there, Rakim, you know, Naughty by Nature, Salt and Pepper, Slick Rick, everybody was there, you know what I mean? And it was just like, you know something, this is beautiful. What we've done as artists, as audience, as a culture is beautiful. What we've gifted unto the world. But when you're young, you just do it. You don't know that you're doing it. You know what I mean? You don't know the influence that you have. You don't know how powerful you could be. You know what I'm saying? The unfortunate thing is our enemies figured it out before we did. You know, so they found a million ways to stifle that creativity, you know, and that influence and everything. Now, what this young cat is doing, Kai, he found out. Damn, you know, it's one thing to see you got 20 million subscribers and everything like that. That's big, but to actually see the people that go with those subs, those names, those screen names and stuff like that, it blows your mind. You know how powerful you could be. The platform that you have, the responsibility that you have. So those people who might have been out there getting hurt, you know, and everything, this kid got to sit back and be like, damn, you know, this could be a major wake-up call for him being 21 years old, you know? So I'm kind of hoping that he's got the kind of people around him. I hope he's got an old head around him, a father or something. It would be like, listen, you see this? You know what I mean? You realize what you could do with this platform that you have here? You know, who you could link up with. You can be over 25. You can be an old head. You know what I'm saying? It's like you can be an OG, you know, somebody who can change things, not by getting on top of a mountain and being like, I have a dream, but no, just the mere fact that you're accumulating wealth. You can show how it's done. You can be relatable. You know, it's like we look for the next big revolutionary. Nah, all that does a lot of times is get you in somebody else's crosshairs. Real bad boys move in silence. Hook up with somebody else who's making similar moves. Do some investing, things like that. So this thing could turn around to be something, that could be useful if he has the right type of people around him. You know what I mean?
And I'm right there with you, because I'm like, once you see that power, once you see what you can accomplish, I hope he uses his platform now for something good. You know what I mean? He can still do his silly stuff, but he can now really start educating. You know what I mean? Because you say, oh yeah, I got 20 million subscribers. You know what I mean? My videos are making 2, 3, 4 million views, because we all know it's not 20 million views he's getting, right? So if you have 20 million subscribers, maybe 10 million views a video or whatever, something like that. You know what I mean?
Maybe even that these days.
Right, exactly. You know what I'm saying? So you're like, okay, yeah, whatever. I'm making money. But now you put this event and you see 10,000 people, if not more, come out to see you. That's like, holy shit. Me personally, and I think Mark and all of us here as old heads, we'd be like, okay, so now I know what I can do. Now I have this power. Now it's time for me to teach these people. You know what I mean? He's young, so he still has a lot to learn himself. But like Mark said, if he has someone in his background, if his father's around, his mother's around, if they see what's going on and they're like, listen, you can really do something with this now. I hope that's the route he goes, man. I really do.
Yeah, because they talking about arresting him and everything, and I'm like, I don't know about that, man. It's like, I get it. Some stuff jumped off that shouldn't have jumped off, but that's youth culture. It's always going to be that way, man. It ain't nothing new. It's like I remember back in the day, I went to something called Hoodstock up in Harlem, and it was the first Hoodstock. There's been others, but that one had Wu-Tang Clan and Fugees, Nice and Smooth. Anyway, somebody got on top of a phone booth back when we used to have phone booths and let off some shots, right? Because he got all into it. And it caused a stampede. All types of stuff jumped off. It was crazy, But once again, that's youth culture. It's just a bunch of energy and no real focus, because we don't realize our own strength. And like I said, the potentially good thing about this is this kid recognizing his potential, and all of those kids who are out there too. Look at us. Damn, there's a lot of us out here. You know what I mean? And we can be good. When I went to the Million Man March way back in '95, I was looking at all of those black men, and as a younger dude, and I'm like, yo, this is powerful. You know what I mean? This is powerful. Just that we're out here, nobody's beating each other up. Nobody's fighting and stuff like that. We're out here singing. We're out here singing some Marvin Gaye. What's going on? I remember that. All of those dudes out there, and that's a positive thing. It's a powerful thing, man. And like I said, that's what we need to hold on to.
100%. I agree with you. Perp said, all I see coming out of this is he'll probably have to pay a hefty fine and maybe community service. Okay. I mean, at the end of the day, though, like Mark said, he didn't tell anybody to do that. You know what I mean? He didn't egg them on. He didn't be like, hey, come out and start acting the fool and do all of this stuff. So I don't blame him for what happened. But, I mean, he could have probably went live and told people to calm down, or tried to, hey, guys, this is not what we're here for, or something like that, because everybody has their phone. So the minute he goes live in his truck, their phone's going to beep, 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 beep. He's gone live, and everybody's going to go watch what he has to say. You know what I mean? So maybe if he had come out and said, listen, guys, we can't be doing this, you know what I mean? And stuff like that. Because I don't know if you guys seen some of the escalation to it, but I'm going to try and find the video. Just give me a second. Because I was like, holy shit, what the hell happened here? And I wasn't sure at first, you know what I mean? I was like, what the hell's going on here when I first found out? But let me see. I don't know if I can find this video. Damn it. Anyways, there's a part where the cop grabs a dude by the head and smashes it into is it here? Hold on. Smashes it into, yeah, you saw that one, right? Smashes it into the back of a van. So all of this, you know, he should have been like, listen, guys, don't do that. Maybe, you know, have a little. He could have tried to de-escalate it. On my thoughts, anyways. So
yeah, we've seen that before.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, we've seen that before in like concerts and things like that. Every now and then there'll be some skirmish out in the crowd or whatever, and dude up on the stage has to say something. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like I just saw that at well, I wasn't there, but there was a Taylor Swift concert and they showed it on TV. Because I ain't trying to go to no Taylor Swift concert, but you know, she was saying there was something happened out in the crowd and security was roughing up some of the some of the concert goers, and she was literally saying from the stage, let them go, don't do that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm,
So you know, sometimes you could do that, but once again, 21 years old, he doesn't really know anything about that. He needs to just have some good people around him. And like I said, I can only pray that this is going to be a good learning experience for him. You know, now that he knows he actually wields a lot of power there for a young buck.
100%. He really does. What's up, sis? How you doing? Thanks for popping in. Much appreciated. You know how we do, just over here talking with my boys. Perp said, damn, I remember phone booth. It's kind of crazy not seeing them around anymore. It's funny because like I go downtown a lot, you know what I mean? I take public transit, take the metro. The other day I was in the metro and I'm walking by and I'm like, there's a phone booth here. Like I've never noticed this fucking phone booth before. And why is there a phone booth in here? I'm sure nobody's using this thing, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, so they still have them around some places. So we go.
I know things happen so fast, man. It seems like back not too long ago. Well, to me anyway, they were all over the place. Then all of a sudden, cell phones popped off, and then they were just gone, bro. That was it.
That's it. You know what I mean? And then when you see one around place, you freak out. You're like, holy shit, there's a payphone over here. So
right? Does it actually still work? Like, what's going on?
Make you want to try it and shit. Wait, is it only a quarter now? Is it 50 cents? Is it $1?
Or you want to try a phone booth 2023?
You're right about that one too.
Good point. Good point.
I have a phone booth at the corner of my street still. Yeah, you see? Right? And it's just weird to see them. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, whatever.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, man, I appreciate the conversation with you guys, man. It was great. You know, we had a lot to talk about. Loki, did you have any more thoughts on the subject?
No, sir. Not at the moment.
So I posted this on Twitter, but I wanted to show it today because I thought it was pretty hard, and I'm pretty sure some of you don't follow me on Twitter, but check this shit out.
Last night I couldn't sleep, but when I did, I could hear bombs in my dreams. Nightmare situation. How could they be so evil, making martyrs out of children and innocent people? We expect the bombs, not knowing where next. Huddle in the corner of my room, trying to protect my little brother as the building shakes like it's possessed. But nothing stronger than the will of the oppressed. I bomb back with my lyrics and rhymes, living the times trying to break the Palestinian minds. What's hiding in the clouds hanging over my head? My dad risks his life outside to buy bread. The fourth war in my 12th year. At this stage I'm numb, though I haven't feel scared. There's nothing I can do in this case to stay safe. I'm brave, even though this house could be in my grave. I want freedom for the population. 2 million prisoners living in this location, shouting at the wall, but nothing is ever changing. That's life under an occupation. I want freedom for the population. 2 million prisoners living in this location, shouting at the wall, but nothing is ever changing. That's life under an occupation.
Burp, you still here? Because that shit is better than any fucking thing that you have posted or have been listening to in the past 10 fucking years.
Somebody 90s ancestors done rose up in him.
Yes, that was nice right there.
What do you guys think?
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
I like it. That was nice.
Yo, that is real. That is real. That is real. You know, I spent a lot of time in the masjids of New York, and a lot of those kids came from, you know, Palestine. They came from Pakistan. You know, all of that stuff, and they're not like kids here. You know what I mean? It's like they've seen a lot. It's like a lot of us have seen some stuff, but they've seen some stuff. Like things that they have no business seeing, and a lot of them, they ain't scared to die, bro. It's like their mentality is almost 5 times what their age is, at least, you know. And I feel where he's coming from, and see, that is the that's the power. I was just talking about the 50th anniversary of hip hop and how we changed the world. It's like all over the world, it's the expression of the oppressed. You know what I mean? So a lot of us think that it's just entertainment, and we're cool to be hearing a lot of this dumb stuff that we're doing on the mic these days. But we were the leaders of this in the world. You know, that was born from our struggle. You know, so the whole world watches what we do. And if we're going to be talking a bunch of bullshit and everything, and the rest of the world is talking like what this kid is doing, we let everybody down, you know, because they look to us for that type of freedom of expression. That's the only freedom that kid knows. But as he's doing that, a bomb could be dropped on him, you know. And the media, all they do is take one side, you know. So they lie about what's going on over there, you know. So this kid is doing the best thing he can by going viral and you know, letting people hear what he has to say and maybe listen, because the you know, he's sure as hell not going to get invited onto The View, you know, but they'll invite some other kid to tell the other side of the story. But you know, that's the street level right there, bro. I got nothing but love for that.
Or a kid is out here rapping about something stupid.
Exactly.
You are right. Yeah, came from poverty.
That's what I'm saying.
Nzo, what's your thoughts on Melly Mare diss to Eminem? I feel like set the culture back 50 years. I never heard it. I never heard it. I'm gonna go listen to that tonight. I never heard it. Melly Mel diss to Eminem. Oh my god. Are you gonna talk about the UFOs? UFOs will be next week. Because there's a lot of information I'm trying to pack up and get together before I put in that conversation. But yeah, we definitely gonna be talking about some of that stuff. But yeah, so what else did I have here? Okay, so I had this little joke here. Let me find it. Here we go. It just dropped earlier today. All right, I'm gonna listen to it. Check this shit out.
I gotta look that up.
Cardiana, I was home with my kid, mommy.
That's a fucking demon. Nope. David is just a baby. Oh, is it though? Is it? This woman gave birth to a Chucky doll. You mad at me? Fuck you. Look, let me ask you. Does this baby ask for titty milk or fresh blood? I gonna hold up that child to the light as if we weren't going to notice. The fuck are you? Go call God. Get your receipt. Get a refund, because that's not right. All babies are beautiful, yes, but sprinkle some holy water on that bitch and see if it fizzles up. Because
You know, it's fun. I actually thought I was a Chucky doll in her hand at first. I did not know that was a real baby. Oh my god!
Exactly. Yeah, when I seen that shit, I was fucking dying, bro. I
didn't think it was real.
I got more. Hold on. Okay, no, this. Oh, let me give this 911 call one here.
Emergency. Hey man, yeah, I'm cooking something here. I was wondering how much trouble you could get in for meth.
And you've called the police to ask how illegal meth is?
Well, yeah, I figured if anyone would know, it'd be you guys.
Is this Darnell Bickham's of Cherrywood Road?
No, Darnell's not here right now. Can I take a message?
The police are on their way, Darnell.
Ah, shit, nuts. I mean, yeah, that's fine, because nothing's wrong here except me just cooking some meth. Ah, double nuts, I said it again.
See you soon, Darnell.
All right, it was great talking to you.
Good talking to you, too.
All right, see y'all in a little bit.
911, what's your emergency?
I have knife hands.
Excuse me?
I looked down, and my hands were knives.
Your hands are knives?
Yeah.
Can you put the knives down?
No, they're my hands.
All right, where are you?
I don't want knife hands. I can't pet my cat. I can't high-five anything.
It's okay, sir. Let's work this out.
What am I going to do, be a chef? Just chop, chop, chop my whole life, nothing but chopping. No, chop that.
How did you call 911?
I called on my phone.
And how did you dial the number?
With my fingers.
Okay, where are your fingers?
On my hands. Oh, God, they're back. Oh, thank you. Oh, my God, look at them. I love these hands. What's your name? Is it Sharon?
No.
Oh, Sharon, you're an angel.
I am not.
That's what an angel would say. Thank you, Sharon.
You're welcome.
This acid is really messing with me. Oh, boy, now my...
Wow.
No,
that's some jerky boy stuff.
That one was probably set up, but I thought it was funny too. You know what I mean? Could be so, or it could be real. 911 calls. I have no idea. But
you never heard of Jerky Boys?
No, who's Jerky Boys?
You gotta look up the Jerky Boys. They used to do stuff like that a long time ago.
Oh, did they?
Just prank calls, yeah.
It's funny. Rick said white people. Yeah, you don't know, all right? Humans. Oh shit. With that being said, guys, we got 5 minutes left. We're gonna go around the panel so these guys can talk about their channels real quick. Let's start off with Mark with a C. You've been on here a couple of times. Always a pleasure to have you on, brother. Go ahead.
Well, thank you for having me on. I really do appreciate that. I love to get things off my chest. So this is a great show. It's a great format. I just want to remind everybody, be careful, man, because I've been watching a lot about this AI and, you know, all of these ultra realistic masks that people are wearing. You don't know who you're dealing with anymore. Okay. So you got to challenge yourself in every situation to be as human as possible. All right. Because I don't care whether it's gender, whether it's sex, whether it's race, they're trying to divide us up with all of these things. But you're going to see going forward, it's about humans versus non-humans. You guys think I'm tripping, but it's the truth. This AI stuff, it's going to get real fast. And we're not going to know what's real in front of us. All right. So just be the best representation of a human being that you possibly can and exercise your power of critical thought every time you can. And you can do that by coming by my channel, The Gospel According to Mark with a C. The channel is Mark with a C. So you come on by and express yourself as an individual, as a critical thinker, and let's grow together. Thank you for having me on.
Definitely be coming check you out, bro.
Always a pleasure. Low key, shout out to people. Let them know where they can find you, sir.
The Low Key Cave, of course, you already know, movie reviews, podcasts. I don't think we're gonna be doing one this weekend. We'll be doing the movie versus this weekend, as far as Hollow Man versus the Invisible Man. And I'll be doing retro review of Saw leading up into the new Saw movie coming out this October or September.
Absolutely. Great. Make sure to check that out too. I'll be probably doing the Saw stuff with him because I love those Saw movies. So I should be there with him as well. JG?
Right here on the O.O.C. Wednesday nights. Always a fun time. Always great topics with my homie over here to my, this is my left, right? Yeah, my left. I have to smoke a little something myself. To my left, the great Nzo, the great Roberto, and always the amazing, the outstanding, the spectacular, always man of the hour, Danny, aka Comic Chat. You can also find me with my brother from another mother, Super Wise, talking that geek stuff that I love so much.
Yes, Nerdman, I will send you the link after when the show is done and we can chat, not a problem. I am Bigger Ford Entertainment. Thank you guys for popping in. Just to let you know, Mark does a show on Wednesday. Yes.
I just want to say, because ever since JG popped on, I've been dying to say, I was born by the river.
Hey, that brawl gave me some inspiration, brother. I'm telling you, man, I'm ready.
Sing it, bro.
How many people downloaded that song after the Riverboat fight?
Facts. Facts. I was listening to that motherfucker after that, boy. I was like, yes. That's how it goes down.
I watched the video in silence with the song playing in the background.
That's what will happen in a small town, motherfucker. That's exactly right. We coming for that ass. Oh shit. Great show, guys. I'm gonna end it with this. My sister sent something there. Oh, she's putting the links in there. Thank you very much, Carla. I appreciate it. Their links are in the description as well. I'm gonna end it with this. Listen to this story, guys. Now, I don't know if it's true or not, but when I heard this, I said, you know what? I gotta share this, and then I'll close it up with this.
Most insane twist in a criminal case in history: murder or suicide. You might want to grab your popcorn for this one. At the 1994 annual awards dinner given for forensic science, Office President Dr. Don Harper Mills astounded his audience with the legal complications of a bizarre death. Here's the story. A medical examiner viewed the body of Ronald Opus and concluded that he passed from a shotgun wound to the head. Mr. Opus had jumped from the top of a 10-story building intending to end himself. He left a note to the effect indicating his decision. As he fell past the 9th floor, his life was interrupted by a shotgun blast passing through a window, which killed him instantly. Neither the shooter nor the deceased was aware that a safety net had been installed just below 8th floor level to protect some building workers, and that Ronald Opus would not have been able to complete his jump the way he had planned. Ordinarily, Dr. Mills continued, a person who sets out to unalive themselves and ultimately succeeds, even though the mechanism might not be what he intended, is still defined as unaliving themselves. Because Mr. Opus was shot on the way to certain death, but probably wouldn't have been successful because of the safety net, caused the medical examiner to feel that he had a homicide on his hands. The room on the 9th floor where the shotgun blast emanated was occupied by an elderly man and his wife. They were arguing vigorously, and he was threatening her with a shotgun. The man was so upset that when he pulled the trigger, he completely missed his wife, and the pellet went through the window, striking Mr. Opus. When confronted with the murder charge, the old man and his wife were both adamant that they thought the gun was unloaded. The old man said it was a long-standing habit to threaten his wife with it unloaded. He had no intention to murder her, therefore the killing of Mr. Opus would be an accident. That is, if the gun had been accidentally loaded. The continuing investigation turned up a witness who saw the old couple's son loading the shotgun about 6 weeks prior to the fatal accident. It transpired the old lady had cut off her son's financial support, and the son, knowing his father's tendencies to use the gun, had loaded it with the expectation that his father would unalive his mother. Since the loader of the gun was aware of this, he was now guilty of the shot even though he didn't actually pull the trigger. The case now becomes one of murder on the part of the son for the death of Ronald Opus. Now comes the exquisite twist. Further investigation revealed that the son was, in fact, Ronald Opus. He had become increasingly despondent over the failed attempt to engineer his mother's murder. This led him to jump off the 10-story building. The son had murdered himself, so the medical examiner closed the case as a suicide.
Fucked up. Peace.
Lift me up, hold me down, keep me close, safe and sound. Drowning in an endless sea, take some time and stay with me. In the strength of your arms, keep me safe, safe and sound. Yeah, we are. Hold me down. Keep me safe,
Not me.
safe and sound.
The greatest trick the devil ever pulled was convincing the world he didn't exist.